went through the process, and then I went to work the next day. And I went to work every day for at least a year after I had retired.
Doing what?
Huh?
Doing what?
Same thing I've been doing before I retired, working. There were things that needed attention.
Okay.
And I gave them attention. And I did it, and I continued. And I did it for full time for 1 year, at least. And then I started forcing myself to maybe take Friday off. I'm kind of in my, prior to actually retiring, I'm kind of a workaholic.
Right. So did you still consult others when you went into retirement? Is that how you still kind of were involved? As you still consulted
anyone? Not that
anyone?
first year, I was just plain doing. But after that, a little bit, yeah.
So were companies coming to you and saying, Jim, we got this situation. How should we handle it?
I can't recall any specific time, but.
And so was this at the end of the 90s or into the 2000s?
Oh, it'd be in 2000.
2000.
Yeah. Virginia McCarthy, I don't know if you know who she was. Virginia McCarthy was a lawyer, a brilliant lawyer, who graduated first in her class in law school and then couldn't get a job. And she had bounced around in some public kinds of things, like, she worked for the Attorney General. She worked for the Marion County Prosecutor. She was out of work some, but in any event, I don't recall the exact time, as sometime must have been around 1990. Anyway, she got appointed. She got appointed. I know. She got appointed by President Carter to be U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of Indiana. She was the first woman in the country to be appointed as a U.S. Attorney. There had never been one appointed prior to Virginia McCarthy. And I knew her, not real well, but I knew her. And so I'm out jogging one day, must have been in the early, maybe it was in the 80s, late 80s, mid 80s, whenever Jimmy Carter left office. I was out jogging, and she lived about 2 blocks away from me. And I saw her. She was then at her doorway, she had just gone out to get the newspaper. She saw me and she just gave me a hi, and I said, "How are you?" and stopped to talk to her a little bit. I said, "What are you doing?" She said, "Nothing." My jaw dropped. I mean, this is a woman who, as I said, graduated first in her class in law school. And I knew she was really smart. I had gotten to know her pretty well back in the 70s. But anyway, so I went home. I got a hold of my partner, Bernie Landman. I said, "You're not going to believe this, but Virginia McCarthy is free." I said, let's hire her. He said, "It's done." I went back to her house and hired her. And she came to work at the firm. And we soon made her a partner. It's one of the better things I did.
Bringing her on? Bringing her on?
Yeah.
What like mentally aspects did she really bring to the table to balance you two guys out? Or what was it, converse?
Well, so much that she's I don't know how to exactly put this, but she was born to be a lawyer.
Okay.
And she had the talent to be an excellent lawyer. And she was personable, friendly, tough, hard-nosed, all the things that you might want in a lawyer.
So what was her focus?
Anything that walked in the door. She didn't have a job. So
any division of law?
we ended up trying cases together.
Okay.
She and I. We anything we had to do, she helped do. I mean, I had developed some clients that did subdivision work. Whatever. She never said, "Oh, I don't want to do that kind of work." Whatever there was to be done, she would do. And she was good at it. And she got all sorts of accolades, by the way, from various women's groups. Primarily prior to the time she came to work for us. And we made her a partner. So it became 3 of us instead of 2 after a while.
Right.
And she was kind of lawyer. You tell her that this is what the problem is. Wait 24 hours, she'll know more than you will about it. By then, or anybody else.
How long was she a partner?
She died in 2000. And that was, by the way, it was right after Jimmy Carter left office in 81, and she was a partner until, I think, 2006.
Okay.
25 years. She was about 85 when she died. I drove her home from work one day. We were working on a case together. We had another young lawyer in the office, the three of us. I can't remember what a case was, but I remember we were working and she had developed macular, that is, Virginia had developed macular degeneration.
Yep.
We had gotten a machine that allowed her to read, and for her. And we worked, we got at 5:30 or 6 and got ready to go home, expecting we'd just come back the next day and pick up where we had quit. Since she lived so close to me, she regularly was riding home or to work and back with me at that point. I took her home and dropped her off at her house, and it was the last time I saw her alive.
Wow.
She went to sleep and never woke up.
And she was, you said 80, 85?
Pardon?
How old do you think she was?
About 85, 84, 85.
Right. So that was in 06. Approximately around there.
So, yeah.
Around there.
Yeah. I know, yeah, because she was with us about 25 years after her stint as a U.S. attorney.
She have kids?
2 adopted.
2 adopted. Did you get close with them at all, or?
Well, they were grown before.
So they were
Steve
gone.
George
They were
gone. One of them lived in Oregon. Her son, I think. I guess the answer to that is no. I knew him, but I was never close with them.
Right.
They weren't around.
So after she passed away, did that kind of demotivate you to keep going, or? So 2006, she passes, you keep going until you retire.
Yeah.
And essentially the firm is yours at that point, because the other 2 are passed.
Well, yeah. But no. But by this point, Jay is there, my son.
Okay. So how old was he when he joined you? Like
When he joined?
Yeah, like right out of law school?
Yeah,
Came right in.
he did.
Did he want to focus on the same areas that you already had developed?
we never think of it that way.
Okay.
And I think you'll find a lot of lawyers will tell you, you ask them what they want to do, they'll tell you, tell me who's going to walk through the front door.
Right. And whatever's going to happen is going to happen. You're going to handle whoever needs help, essentially.
People do specialize, of course. And some just do litigation, and some do transactional work
Mm-hmm.
and confinement. You do that in the very, very big firms. You don't do that in the smaller firms.
So I'm assuming that you had been subtly educating Jay along the whole path before he even got through the doors. Is that somewhat true? I mean, obviously you had to go to law school.
Yeah.
But if you're bringing him in.
Well, he knew all these people. I mean, he knew Bernie.
And he also knew the different practices and how to handle. I mean, I'm assuming you just kind of taught him what he needed to know that he didn't learn in the school.
A little, somewhat.
How would you kind of describe his growth as an attorney in the firm with you?
I don't think I can be objective about that. And I'll tell you a little story about him. Jay's smart. That ain't the story. But I think this actually took place before we left Bamberg or followed, but maybe not. No, it was after. He I can't remember. He came in the office once, in my office, and I think, and we were talking about something, and oh, I know what he was. I was telling him about someone else, and anyway, the person had had been thinking about going to Brebeuf High School, and I had talked to Bernie about it a little bit. At some point, Bernie had said to me, I don't think you should do that. He said there are too many Jews. there. And knowing that Bernie was Jewish, and I knew he was himself, and we'd come from a Jewish law firm, and we had it was just a joke on his part. So I told it to Jay, and Jay said, I didn't think Bernie would be that way. I said, what are you talking about? He said, I didn't think he'd be anti-Jewish. Jay, you've known Bernie since you were born. Bernie is Jewish. He says, he is? Jay, by this time, is 25 years old and was totally unaware, which I thought was a good thing. It was a nice thing. I had to tell him, Bernie was just joking with me when he said that. I've thought about it a little bit in recent years. There aren't many firms in town where there are both Jewish and non-Jewish people. But we were one, but there were very few others, couple. But notwithstanding that, I was glad that Jay was devoid of any bias.
So how many years has Jay now been practicing law?
I don't know when.
When
since the early 80s.
Since the early 80s?
Yeah, he's about 64 years old.
Okay.
Now.
Okay. Okay, well, we will do a segment about Jay himself. But just as far as the career itself, is there any other major highlights or any other things that you want to save or talk about, just as far as, looking back on all the law, besides the money? How you felt you made a difference, just how you felt in general.
I was heavily involved in politics, and that's more
the passion.
Say what?
The passion.
Well, it is, but it's also lawyering is more precise than politicking.
Sure.
A lot. They're politics is full of lawyers, but their skill, the ones that are good at it, are not similar, are together. And they are naturally, because they deal with the process of creating laws, and although a lot of lawyers have nothing whatsoever to do with it. Are we finished?
We can.